Assalamu alaikum to the students of Mid City School. Welcome to the English grammar lesson of class 2. Today's topic is verbs, present and past tense. This is the second part. As you know, we had started this chapter last week and today we are going to continue with part 2. So let's see what we had learned last week. I'll give you a quick reminder of the lesson which we did last week. The topics we learned last week were present tense and past tense. Present tense, we learned how we use the letters S or ES to show a verb in the present tense. And we also learned how to drop the final Y of a verb. If the word is cry, how we cut off the Y of that word and add IES. In some places, when we talk about he, she or it, or when we give it a name, then we say he cries or we say Asad cries. So those were the examples like that. So we add IES instead of the Y. Secondly, we learned how past tenses are formed. The first method we changed the present tense into past tense was by adding ed to the verb. Example, if it was call, we added ed and the word became past tense. The word became called. Secondly, we learned how we can double the last letter and add ed to it. If it was stop, we double the last letter. That means we double the P there. That becomes STOPP and plus ED. That becomes stopped. The third rule what we learned was if the verb ended in with a E, then we just added D to it and it became the past tense. So if you can't remember, please do watch last week's video so that you can remember what we learned last week. Alright. So now let's see what we have to learn today. Okay, now today's topic is present to past. We can change the tense of a verb from the present to the past in many ways. The following are some of the ways in which this can be done. If the verb in the present tense ends in S or ES, if it ends in S or ES, that means I will show you where it ends with a S. Here this is lives and it's ending with a ES. And this is also washes. So this is an example of a verb which is ending with a ES. In the same way, if the verb ends with a S, here this is a verb and this is ending with a S. So we drop the S and add ed or D. We drop the S or ES and we add D. That means Here in the present tense, as you can see, lives is the verb. He lives in Karachi, and the past tense becomes he lived in Karachi. So we drop the S from that verb over there and we just add D. Only D we have added here. Same ways, Maria washes the dishes. In this present tense of verb, we cut off the S only and add D to it to make the past tense. Now here the verb has changed into the past tense and it has become washed. In the third example, as you can see, David rose for his school team. Rose. Now there is no ES here. There is only S here, which shows the present tense of the verb. And here we have added ED after cutting, cutting this S off. After we cut this S off, we have added ED. Then the verb here has become roved to show the past tense. Present to past. Now there is another way of changing the present to past. If the verb in the present tense ends in IES. Now as you can see, the present tense, if the verb is ending with this IES, fries, IES, the man fries potatoes. If I say the man fries potatoes, then fries, that's the present tense. If I say the man fried potatoes, that becomes the past tense here. So we drop the final S and add D. Here we just drop the S from here and we add D to it, then it becomes the past tense. Carries. Father carries heavy loads, heavy boxes. Okay. Father carries. Father carried. Now here we have only dropped the S and added D to show the verb in past tense. Same goes here. Marries has become married. I hope you have understood how we can change the present tense to past tense. Please do read the chapter. Do read your book. Present to past tense is explained on page number 29, 30 and 31. It also includes a few exercises. We will be doing the exercises in our next online class. So, till we meet again in our next online class, from me, it's Allah Hafiz.